Go to Google and look up the definition of money. We can see that it is defined as a current medium of exchange in the form of coins and banknotes. Money is a way we represent value, and the more value you can provide to the economy, the more money in theory you should be able to make. Think of all the money that has ever come into contact with you, whether it be hundreds of thousands, millions, or even just a few $100s. That number, whatever it may be, is the accumulation of the value that you have provided to others and payment that you have accepted in exchange for said value. Which brings me to my first point about money, which is money is value. To increase the amount of money that you make, you simply have to increase your output of value to others in the economy. And value, while it is subjective, can be leveraged in many different ways to benefit you once you understand how it works. For example, many people work for a company or a business. If you are an employee, you are paid for the value that you provide to your company, but the company takes the work you did, and the company is paid for the value that they provide to their many customers. The work you provided and the work that the company has delivered to the customers is the same. However, you are paid for what you deliver to the single company, which they set your rate at, whether it be hourly or annual salary, and the business gets the true value since they provide your work to many clients, and the man at the top will receive the spoils of your contributions. 2. Your income is not a reflection of how hard you work. Your income is based on a variety of factors, but mainly it comes down to supply and demand. Think about this imaginary scenario. You are the only person in the world that can change a light bulb. While changing a light bulb is relatively easy, since nobody else would be able to do this, your rate is able to go up because the demand to change light bulbs is high, while the supply of people who can do it is extremely low. If we look at an example from my own life, I used to work at FedEx as a package handler, loading trucks where I got paid an hourly wage, and while that was by far the hardest job I've worked with the longest hours I had to face, I don't get paid nearly as much as I do now as a software engineer. The main lesson that I want to get across is, don't think that your income is a reflection of how hard you worked at your job today, but rather it is a combination of the value that you have provided and the intersection of supply and demand in the labor market. 3. Time is not money. Contrary to the popular saying time is money, which supposedly originated in 1748 in a book written by Benjamin Franklin, you can spend and make money, but you cannot make time after it is spent. While there is some truth to the fact that money and time are heavily intertwined in many people's lives, especially if you're working for an hourly wage or an annual salary, time is our most precious asset because it is fleeting and once spent cannot be regained. You can use time to make more money, and while you can use your money to free up your time to enjoy your money, you're still not able to actually create more time, but rather only to enjoy the time that you are already entitled to by existing. And I challenge those who would say that money is more valuable than time, because if I were to give you $100 million, but you were to die tomorrow, I'm sure you would say that money isn't as important anymore. Most would rather keep their current situation with far less money, and it is important to understand that there's always a need for balance in life. I would much rather enjoy the time that I have and try to use it to gain money and also spend time with my family and friends than to trade it all away instantly for a lot of money but little to no time to enjoy it. 4. Money is a game. If you've played a video game or even a board game like Monopoly, you'll know you have certain stats and assets, like your available money and properties in Monopoly or your health and gear in a game like Elden Ring. So just like in those games, you should keep track of your stats in real life. Basically, you should make an income and expense sheet and keep track of all of your assets so that you know exactly what you are worth financially. Your net worth is all of your assets minus all of your debts, and you should track that on a quarterly basis. Imagine playing a game where you have no map, no idea of what your current health or money is. That's basically what you're doing when you don't keep track of your income and expenses, and this leads me to the 5th thing that you should know, which is understanding your expenses and how to minimize them. Your mindset of what your bank balance is needs to change. It is truly a war of attrition, and many people are unfortunately always one bad move away from losing this war. Going back to our analogy of a game, your bank balance is like your health bar. The greater your income, the faster your bar will fill up, and the greater your expenses, the faster your bar will drain. Once you've completed your income and expense sheet, you will be able to break down your expenses and see what is making you lose money and begin to devise ways to minimize expenses where it makes sense and based on the lifestyle that you wish to live. To give you an idea of what most people's largest expenses are, here are the top 5 in the US: housing, transportation, taxes, food, and utilities. These are not the expenses that you'll be most likely minimizing, but as you go down the list, you will find that there are things that you can most likely cut out or at the very least reduce to increase your net gain each month. 6. Truly understand passive income and what it means for income to be passive. Real passive income is income that is acquired automatically with essentially no no effort needed to generate that income. Understanding the ways to generate passive income and knowing that by leveraging enough passive income, you are able to create financial freedom is very important, which in theory sounds great, but the downside comes when you really break down the numbers of what it takes to get your passive income levels high enough to cover your basic living expenses. Basically, getting your passive income rate high enough to cover your living expenses requires either a very large amount of money, which you probably do not have since you're trying to get your passive income high enough in the first place, or you need a lot of time and a lot of work to achieve true financial freedom. Some methods of passive income include dividend paying securities, high interest savings accounts, rental properties, online businesses, digital products or services, and there are many more. But keep in mind that once a passive income stream is set up, it should be basically automatic, but there is always work involved to set it up, and that can range from a few clicks on your computer to multiple years to set up an automated online business that generates you passive income. And 7, the final thing that you should know about money is that just like any subject that you want to get good at, you must study it and learn it and apply the things that you've learned to be successful. So, invest in your own financial education, since many of the things that you should learn about money are not taught to you in school or they are taught poorly, whether it be reading finance books, learning how to optimally do your taxes, doing research into companies or businesses that you want to invest in. There are so many sectors of personal finance and money to be explored, and the more you know about the game that you are trying to play, the better you are equipped to conquer it and succeed.